Hello Stampers, I've got a fun little project for you today, and this is the extended Z fold card, and it's the Z fold, only it's a little longer, and I'm going to show you how to do that along with where I'm using the brand new bundle. This is the Circle Saying stamp set. You can bundle it up with the new punch that is 2 3/8 inch circle. So we're going to be using this today, and I just thought it'd be fun to use this one stamp that has these waves in it in the sun, and also the little seashells. The sentiment I use are also out of this, and I just put smile on the front, and then the inside I put because you're awesome, along with the little seashells. So we're going to get going on this. I added some gold foil to the front just for some glisten, and added a little in here too. I just love that rich look of the gold. So we're going to be doing that also. So we're going to get started with this. We're going to start with our main card base. And this is Boho Blue, and it's 4 1/4 by 11. And you can make 2 out of just one sheet of cardstock. Just cut it straight down the middle. And you'll have 2 pieces that are the same size, which is 4 1/4 by 11. So we're going to go ahead and score this, and we're going to score it at 1 1/4 inch. And I'm also going to score it at 5 1/2. So that's all the scoring you need to do. Super simple. And that was done with the Simply Scoreboard by Stampin' Up. And all the dimensions for this card are down below this video, along with all the links to the products so that you can get them at my online store. So I'm just going to fold at the scores. I have a bone folder here. I'm just going to crease those score lines. And here's the smaller one. This is at the 1 1/4 mark. And so that we have that all ready. So we're going to set that aside. Have a panel here that's basic white, and it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and do our, like an ocean look here. And this panel here, we're going to take the design and we're going to put it on this panel, and then we're going to cut part of this off. And so you'll have the 2 sections you need. And it's easier to do that than try to do the same design on 2 pieces of paper. So I'm going to start, and we're just going to do a little direct paper. I got the Boho Blue stamp pad here. I'm going to be using the short end of this ink pad, and I'm going to have it at a tilt. And I have this paper, and it's set at landscape instead of, this would be the wrong direction. We want it long ways. So I'm just going to start putting some like wavy looking designs here. And you can get a little darker at the top. And so that is our sky and water combo with the Boho Blue. And then I've got the wild wheat ink pad. And I'm just going to turn my cardstock, and I'm just going to do that same type of look there. There at the bottom. And that would be like our sand. And then you can use a window sheet for this next thing, or this just comes out of one of the Stampin' Up stamp sets. When you get the clear stamps, like these, that'll have one of these sheets in there. And I just keep them, and you can use them for this instead of a post-it note. I just want to put a horizon line in. So I'm just putting my plastic on here. And I'm going to bring in that Boho Blue again. And a blending brush. And I'm just going to blend a little of this along this edge of this plastic sheet here. I'm just making it darker so that I can create that horizon line for my water there. So it's just a little back and forth motion. And then you have a horizon line for your water. All right. So that is our background panel. Now I want to use I'm going to use the painted texture embossing folder. I love this embossing folder. I used it at a card class this week and it just reminded me I need to get it out and use it more. It gives you this painterly look to your card. I just love that texture on there. And it's called the painted texture, of course. So I'm just going to put my panel in here, and I have it facing up, and I've got the Stampin' Up logo here, and I'm going to run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and now it has that great painted look on it. I just love that texture. I hope it's picking it up on the camera. I just took this over to my paper cutter and I cut 1 1/4 inch off of the right side of that panel. And now I have the pieces that I need for this part here, which will be the extension of our card. So what I want to do is I'm just going to open that flap up a bit, and I'm just going to take some Stampin' Seal and run it down the edge of that piece there. You need something strong there, strong adhesive there, because you're going to fold this back and it's going to be opened and closed with that piece there. So you want to make sure you have something strong here holding it down. Okay, so that is the front, and I'm going to add this piece here to the back part. This can be easily done with any designer series paper. You can make your own scenes. I just like that the scene continues on to this back part of the card. That's fun, right? And then, see how that closes then. And I'm going to add a strip of gold on the inside. This is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. This is that gold foil paper. And I'm just going to butt it up against that little seam there. There we go. And then I want to add a piece that's 1 inch by 4 1/4. And this is going to just go on the front here. And I'm just going to put it over that little flap that we made. There we go. And I'm butting it up against the right edge. So there is that. So we're moving right along here. And next, I have this new 2 3/8 circle punch. And out of Boho Blue cardstock, I punched one of those out. And then I'm going to stamp our main scene here on just a piece. This is like a 3 by 3 basic white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp that has the sun and the waves on it from the Circle Saying stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it on this panel here. There we go. And that I did that with Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I'm going to cut that out, or punch that out. I'm just going to flip this punch over so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to center it up here in that circle and then punch it. So there is our scene. I have a basic white panel here, and this is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to have this portrait wise, so it fits on right inside of this card here. just like that. But I want to stamp something on it first. So I'm going to get my memento back out here. And I have my sentiment that I want to put on it. And this says, "Because you're awesome." Who doesn't want to hear that, right? And I'm just going to stamp this in on my panel. And then I have the little seashell stamp from the Circle Sayings. And I'm going to stamp this down here in the left bottom corner. That was done with Memento Tuxedo Black also. Okay, so now we're all ready. And I want to do some coloring on these before I add them. So I have my two pieces here that need color. And I'm going to bring out the Boho Blue ink pad. And I have these little clear blocks here. And you can use any clear block for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some of that. I've tapped it on my Boho Blue ink pad. And then I'm going to tap the other one on this Wild Wheat. And that's what I'm going to use for my color, because I'm going to be using my water painter for this. So I have my water painter here. And these water painters are really nice. You just fill them full of water. They have a nice brush tip on them. And you just squeeze it just a little bit to get that water flowing to the tip. And I don't want much. I want a pretty strong color here. So I'm just going to add just a little bit. And they have this little mark, it says push. So you just push on that and it starts to get that water flowing down to the tip here. There we go. So I'm just going to pick up some of that color and I'm going to do the waves first. And I'm just coloring in the waves. And this is a great way to color with any of the ink pads you have, is these water painters. They're awesome. Here we go. So there is my water done. Then I'm going to add a little bit to some of these seashells here. Now the drier you keep your ink, the stronger the color will be. So there's my blue all done. And I'm just going to squeeze my brush, get some water flowing here. Just clean my brush just a little bit on my scrap paper here. And then I'm going to start working with this Wild Wheat. I'm going to add some water. There we go. And I'm going to color the sun in with that. And then the remainder I have on my brush, I'm just going to kind of fan this out around the sun. That's going to give that little sun ray look here. Very simple. You can make it come out just a little longer in a few places. And then I just want to add some of this to some of these seashells just to coordinate my scene here. Looks great on those little starfish. And then the inside of some of these shells. And I like to just kind of add a little bit to each shell. There we go. And that's all color coordinated now. And we just used just a little bit of ink for that. So now I have my panel all done here, and I can add it to the inside of my card. So I'm just going to add a little glue here. we go. So there's the inside of our card. And now we're going to work on just getting our design going for the outside. Now I'm going to adhere this design circle to the Boho Blue circle. And the reason is you see a little bit of the back of this design circle when you're opening the card up a bit. And I didn't want it to be white, I wanted it to be blue is the only reason I'm doing that. So now I just want a little bit of gold around the edges of this. Now you could have punched these out of smaller circles and did a larger circle in gold. But a little tip is that you can use one of these Prismacolor Premier. These are like a paint marker, and this is metallic gold. And I'm just going to edge this just a little bit with that gold, just have a little bit of gold showing. So I'm just kind of leaning that against there. This might be a little wavy, that's okay. So I'm just going to use this on the edge of this panel here. That's just an economical way to get some gold on a little piece of your cardstock. So now I just want to pop this up on the front. So I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to this. And I only want to put Stampin' Dimensionals on the part that's going to be on the card here, because this is going to open up here. So I just want to put my dimensionals on the back side just here and not have any on the left side. There we go. I'm just going to place that on there where I want it. And it's just hanging over just a bit. So there is our little main design. Doesn't that background just look great with that? So next I want a little sentiment on the front. And I just have this scrap paper here, and I'm just going to stamp this smile stamp on here using Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm just going to stamp it down here in the corner. There we go. Because you only need a little piece of this. Basic white for that sentiment. Then I'll just take a pair of scissors and just give this a little trim off. There we are. And now that same gold marker that I used, you can either put a little panel behind your smile piece, or you can just use that gold marker again. I'm just going to add a little bit of that gold to the edge. Just to outline it just a little bit. And then I'm going to add this to the panel, and I'm going to pop this up also. A couple dimensionals here. And this I'm just going to tuck under here, under that little main panel there. So there's our card all finished, ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this extended Z Fun Fold card. Here's my original, and I hope you like this project and that you give it a try. Thanks for joining me. Toodles.